Welcome to 2024's first iQuanti quarterly report. This has been a very interesting year so far. And in some ways, it is accumulation of many trends that we've been seeing the past few years. When you look at it from a long range, after almost a decade of fairly stable digital marketing landscape between the Google and the Meta duopoly through 2010 to 2020, we are seeing a dramatic set of changes. The biggest change is led by consumers and consumer behavior. So if you think about the last time someone forwarded you an article, or and they might have, but most of the forwards, or most of the way people consume information has changed, and it's increasingly been short form videos. And that, of course, is a big driver of change. That is how people now consume information. That is how people build opinions about their brands. And therefore, while a lot of marketing is taking time to shift, sure, brands are doing short form videos, but that is still not the primary way in which we communicate to consumers. But the way consumers take in information has changed. Now, once with short form videos, the other piece has been around changes related to the platforms. So obviously video friendly platforms, whether it is Insta or TikTok, and TikTok especially has been a rage, or YouTube is where we have kind of a lot of users consuming information. When we talk to like brands, and many of our clients have said, hey, TikTok is completely not in my segment when I'm looking at like banks and financial services. But I think I would kind of remind them that oftentimes where young people are today, older people follow tomorrow. Remember Facebook, remember Insta. Yes, young people get there first and eventually old people will follow. So as marketers, we need to really figure out the platform and we need to figure out how we get in front of people. When you look at Gen Z populations, a lot of searches or a lot of consumer journeys are actually now starting at TikTok rather than on Google, and people actually searching on Google. So that leads to different marketing decisions that one has to kind of make. The third piece of it is in terms of formats itself, right? We have brands who've said, hey, with these slickly short videos that we've kind of shot for television, can we just version them for TikTok? The reality is now users look for a lot more authenticity. So the form or the formats of videos that you kind of see on TikTok are very, very different from what you'd see in television. And so brands need to keep authenticity in mind because that is what consumers look for. This search for authenticity in the digital space kind of also translates into mid-funnel, where increasingly reviews are being kind of seen on Reddit. And many of my marketing colleagues will shudder because Reddit tends to be completely unfiltered. But because it's unfiltered, it's also seen as credible by consumers. And therefore, it's one of the places where reviews on Reddit for any brand kind of is becoming bigger and bigger. And that's something that brands need to keep in mind. I think the third big trend that we kind of see, apart from entire changes in users and in platforms, is primarily looking overall at how consumers are looking at privacy, and privacy has been a big item now, and both in terms of changes that Google is making with cookie deprecation. Around 1% of the population using Chrome is now impacted, and the changes that Apple has made in a big way, especially with iOS 17 now. I think as marketers, our ability to track users has been kind of lower and lower, which means contextual marketing becomes more and more important as we look at how we reach users. Now that talks about like changes that we see among consumers, the changes that we see in platforms, the changes that we see in the regulatory space, and now of course there's a whole shift in the technology space with AI. And while of course it's very, very early, and we've seen that with snafus in Gemini, but we can be sure that this is going to make a big impact. We already see it making a big impact in some of the marketing that we are kind of seeing, because you can consume a lot more data and spot trends which you otherwise might not have been able to kind of do so. So I think overall it's been a year of huge shifts in consumer behavior, shift in platforms, shifts in regulatory behaviors in terms of regulations, and shift in overall like technologies. And I think this is going to kind of continue, and as marketers, those of us who can really keep pace with the change and evolve are the ones who are going to kind of thrive. Otherwise, I think, again, like many changes that happen, I think it is something that we will kind of struggle with. So this report will provide you with all these trends. So please take a look and read it. And if you need more information, reach out to marketing@iquanti.com.